2. Star's not in yet, so I will go ahead and take the notes for us. But we do have a quorum, so I want to go ahead and get things going while we have everybody here. So we'll start with Secretary's report. We sent out the May and June minutes. Any questions, comments, or concerns on those? I'll take a motion to approve the May and June minutes.
Motion.
Vito first.
I'll second.
Alex second. All others in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes have passed. I just have 2 quick things on my report, and then we'll turn things over to Matt Antalowicz. As you saw in the governance committee meeting minutes, the committee has made the decision to no longer allow public speaking at the monthly board meetings by non-board members. Community members are encouraged to attend committee meetings should they wish to voice any comments or concerns. Please know that any relevant topic or issue that requires public comment will be announced in accordance with open meeting laws, and public speaking portions will be limited to 3-minute blocks of time. I'll let Meek go into further details on the details from that meeting when he gets here and during his governance committee update. And then lastly, I just want, good morning, Star. We will not get started stating the notes till you get situated. And then lastly, just a reminder that the annual performance evaluation for Olivia will be going out to all board members later this month. I'll ask for responses back by the end of August. We do ask everyone to please take some time to provide constructive feedback for Olivia. As board members, it's important that we support our executive director as much as possible, and this will be an opportunity for board members to identify areas where improvements can be made, if any, and we thank you in advance for your attention to that matter. That's all I have for now. We'll go ahead and turn things over to Matt Antalowicz for the treasurer's report. Matt?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Alright, so we'll just jump right in. Cash position obviously is, compared to last year, very low. But with Olivia reaching out to, I think it was a community loan fund, we were going to be able to actually help some of that cash position for temporary fixes, waiting on tax assessments, waiting on other revenue that might be coming in. So that is good news for the bid. Currently, we're sitting on $12,000 in accounts receivable. That detail is right here. So we have a couple that are 91 days and overdue. So hopefully we'll be collecting on those soon. So not a huge amount of accounts receivable that has been pledged, but still we have some more cash that should be coming in for sponsorships. Other than that, assets are the usual, a couple of things in prepaid expenses, which is typically just the insurances that we pay over. We recognize that monthly for a year. Not a huge amount of accounts payable. Probably the reason being there's $10,000 in accounts payable is because of the fact that we're a little strapped for cash right now. But I think some of those were actually paid at the beginning of July. We have deferred revenue of $5,500. That's just for events that haven't occurred yet. For the most part, I think it's Chowder Fest sponsorship and Pig Out sponsorship. I still have about $22,000 in deferred revenue for the tax assessment. We'll obviously recognize that, move the majority of that $22,000 in July, and then have a receivable on the books for that for August until we get the other bump of tax assessment. It usually comes sometime in the fall, hoping September, usually end of September, October. We did have Rock on the River, so there's a sales tax that we do owe come September 20th. So from there, the balance sheet looks fairly strong, down from previous years, but we're hopefully we'll be changing that and changing direction soon. As I talked about, the accounts receivable, $12,780. These are the companies that have pledged that we're just waiting on payment from them. Sponsorship detail, overall, we've had about $33,000 in sponsorship. A good chunk of that, 11,000 of it, is mostly the beautification sponsorship that has been restricted. So we're only using that for beautification purposes. And then obviously about $21,300 in overall sponsorship for the events and just general sponsorship. Deferred revenue detail, as we talked about, is about 5,500. Some of that, actually, now that I think about it, we did defer some of it for Rockin' because Rockin' isn't all, it's happening in June, July, August, so we're gonna try to recognize that in July and August too. But overall, the P&L we're looking at is about $1,200 profit. So we're still on track for having that zeroed out budget that we,
Can you make that bigger?
budget that we have.
Matt,
so
can you
that's-
make it bigger?
Oh, sorry, I forgot, I'm probably changing tabs, so let's. I'm actually just gonna jump to the budget first, actual.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, great.
Okay. So overall, like I said, $33,000 in sponsorship. Events have brought in about $28,000. I heard that Rocket wasn't the greatest for Cedar Creek, which is a little disappointing because Cedar Creek's usually a good showing. Just maybe people aren't doing it as much. We've recognized half of our tax assessment at 175, so exactly 7,500. So total revenue for the year is about 150,000. So a little lower than what we had budgeted for the full year. So half the year we would have liked to be about 170,000, but we're just below it. So we'll see how the rest of the summer show ends up as far as the Rockins go, and obviously paying out a child. We're significantly lower than our overall payroll expense was going to be. We're budgeting 220,000. Halfway through the year, we're only at 81,000. So there's obviously some savings there, and Olivia, I'm sure, has noted why where the savings came from. Still waiting on beautifications expenses. Haven't had too much of that so far this year. Some of the event expenses, so beverage, we only recognize 893 of the Rockin' beverage expense, which is very low. Maybe there's an expense still sitting out there that we haven't received yet. I don't believe so, because Dave did send over the invoices. Halfway through the year, our contract services right in line. Those are usually the ones that we're pretty fixed on. We know what's going to be in those contract services. So right in line with about halfway through the year. And then just going through everything else. I mean, the rental, repairs and maintenance, these are things that just pop up throughout the year. We don't put a huge budget amount in there, but there is an expense in there too. So well over the halfway point. Hopefully some of the stuff will not be increasing too much. Obviously the rent will be at 12,000 at the end of the year. We're under the facilities rental, but we still have a lot of the Rock Island Rivers coming, a few of the Rock Island Rivers coming up. So there's the porta potties and everything in there. Also the remainder of the 7th stage. Insurances, kind of knowing that, we just recognize it throughout the year evenly. And then the rest, I mean, we're at the total expenditures of 147,000, which is lower than halfway through what we had budgeted for the year, so that's good too. We are seeing some savings, like I noted, in the salaries and wages, the expenses. Two big things to note are the ARPA grant income, ARPA grant expenses. So we finally received money from ARPA, so that's good. That helped immensely with the bottom line. We're a little off as far as the income equaling the expenses, only because we're missing about $1,098 that Olivia, I know we did Olivia, she's going to be following up with the city and receiving that money too. So actually it will be almost a $2,200 profit from there. So currently looking good, $1,100, almost $1,100 profit compared to a zero balance budget. So definitely looking out for this year, for sure. And that's really it on my part. If anybody has any questions.
Matt, in regards to the ARPA money, did I understand that correctly? We received the amount that was earmarked 2 years ago? Or whenever it was earmarked? We're short.
Received everything that has been expensed for the ARPA grant. So we have spent this year, 22,419 is what we have received, so we should be getting another 1,980. As far as the ARPA budget goes, we didn't, it was all, how do we do this? We kind of factored it into like beautification expenses, I believe.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood when you were explaining it, and my question was wrong. Let me rephrase it.
Yep.
We were told roughly 2 years ago we were getting X amount in ARPA funds, correct?
Correct.
There was a shortfall up until very recently, correct?
Correct.
Have we been made whole to that number we were told 2 years ago?
As far as being made whole, we haven't been made whole. As far as the number that we were trying to reach, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was $50,000.
Correct.
I don't think that we've gotten to the full $50,000 yet.
So
We've been made whole for all of the expenses that we have.
So if I understand your explanation correctly, we spend money that's budgeted towards the ARPA line, and then request reimbursement from the city for that expense?
Exactly.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Is it reimbursement, or is it, I was under the impression that we were submitting the invoices directly to the city and they were paying them using the ARPA funds?
Reimbursement.
So we're putting it out
Not
and then getting reimbursed?
Yeah, that's like a grant.
Yeah.
We do the same thing with the stroll, and for what, we're still waiting on tens of thousands of dollars from stroll from December, so.
So
whatever.
you've spent the money,
We spend the money, then you have to prove it out, and then you,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
you don't
they-
get it ahead of time, and
Yeah.
apparently there's no guarantee you're gonna get it at all, even from the crowd.
It's risky.
oh, yeah. And we were under the impression, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we first applied for these funds, we were under the impression that we were applying for 50,000, and the 50,000, if approved, was going to be given to us
Yeah.
to then spend.
Yeah.
So that's a
We've
little-
never gotten it ahead of time, and it's rough, because our fiscal year ends 12/31, so here we are spending money early December, and then we're hoping our people may want, should we get last year's money?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, they've always come through in that whole, it is, yeah, we've never not gotten it, and even meeting with the mayor recently, I'm like, hey, we still got this outstanding monies and stuff. Certainly helps to have things documented as well. Yeah, sounds like we're kind of the same thing. Sounds like you got no money though, so I want to hear it.
What's our current cash on hand?
That's a good question.
38.
Is that what that was?
Matt, can you scroll up to the top?
I mean, last year.
As of June 30th, it was 38,000.
Okay, and what's our average monthly burn rate?
Well, I mean, that's hard to dictate. I mean, I can tell you what your fixed expenses are, but as far as events go, expenses for those events, it's kind of fluctuates.
Yeah, we never really thought about it.
But I mean, if we're looking at, as of this year, like through 6 months of this year, considering that we've had 149,000 in expenses, so.
I just asked because we got to the end of
25.
last year, like, kind of with our pants down and surprised about it, so I feel like, I don't know about y'all, but I need to plan out my budget for my business to make sure I have the money. So, do we know, roughly, is it like
It's like $25,000
$25,000?
A month?
a month.
Is that
Payroll,
minus?
expenses,
Sure.
rent, events.
But we're getting another influx of tax assessment in July, this month.
Not
August.
No.
August.
End of August.
City has to
September.
collect the money first.
In July. You guys pay taxes in July, and then we get it end of August.
And that's another 22,000,
No, it's another like 60,000.
60,000, and then that's it for the rest of the year, that's all we, so have we done an analysis to make sure we're gonna have enough to get us through the year?
Not an analysis, not a formal analysis.
Well,
no.
you're forgetting Child and Fresh, you're forgetting Pig Out, you're forgetting the events that are also presented.
And that's why I say it's hard to really
Yeah.
predict, because the events are the unknowns, so.
There's a lot
I
of
work in
unknown.
the event business, so I totally get that, but I feel like we it might behoove us to do a little bit of analysis to
Yeah.
see. I mean, you can't project, but
Yeah,
at least
I
we
guess-
can look at a reasonable expectation.
Yeah, maybe we can take like last couple of years and see like if the split the year in half, like what did the first half of the year look like, and then what did the second half of the year look like, and then we can figure out whether or not we expect to lose X amount or gain X amount over the
Right.
next half of the year. We
I
probably
mean,
at that level of
Right,
visibility.
I mean, I know we're putting a lot on like the increase in tax assessment, but I think it would be really beneficial for us to just know.
I think we do that though, when we do our budget, we budget everything based on what we paid last year. So
Yeah.
when we're in our finance meeting, we look at everything we spent, so that's what we did
Your last 3 years.
3 years, but we get surprise expenses, whether it's the police bill from the city, whether the stage increase happens at Rockin' on the River,
Sure.
or the beer, like Di Crescenti and stuff like that, like we get surprise expenses that we have no idea about. Like for example, our surprise expense this year came from Pride, that we just didn't realize that the price increased on drag queens, so we didn't budget for that. So there's little things that happen during the year, but we budget for everything, so I know that this year, even with not being in the negative, like I don't know if you can show where we were at in June of last year versus this year, we haven't had a negative balance at the end of any of our months. So that's showing that we're on track,
So as we're showing last year, we were, as of June, we were losing
$30,000, and now we're at a positive of
We're
$1,000, or we're at, no, we're
$16,000.
negative 1,300.
Sarah and Olivia, I don't wanna get off the agenda, and I'll make this very quick, but this is a perfect way to segment into this. All these numbers are being put in front of us right now, we're all asking the same questions. How do we get to December 31, right, with having money in there to survive? This and all the questions we're talking about right now perfectly exemplifies why next week in our meeting with city council about this tax assessment is dire. Like, because without it, year after year, I'm not on the finance committee, but I've had numerous conversations with previous executive directors and weekly conversations with Olivia. There's not a single person on this board that has the power to print or create money. And Matt does an excellent job for us year after year at budgeting our expenses. We all have more asks and more, why can't we do this, why can't we do that, who does this and who does that? The true reality is every single business owner at this table knows, and even non-business owners, bankers, chair people, residents, you can't achieve anything you want to do with your home or your property without funding. Next week is imperative for the air for this thing to breathe.
I do think the finance committee should probably get together and have a mid-year meeting and just see where we are at.
That should be going on every
We
month.
had anticipated to
Yeah.
be, they will be starting to convene here soon, to start working on the budget for next year anyway, but I'll ask Danae to call a meeting a little bit earlier, and just to check in where we're at, and where we should be, and how we're looking for December 31st. I think that's a good idea. Any other questions for Matt?
Just in case I heard right, it sounded like the salary benefits from a positive swing, probably from a negative work overload end, but 219,000 versus 81 year to date, did I hear that right, or
Yeah.
is it, a big
Well, we
gap?
lost Piper was a
Sure,
full-time
yeah.
position.
Yeah. So-
Yeah, this time last year, we had
Budgeted for.
Piper, Taylor, and me,
Yeah.
and then Trevor and Leonard.
Gotcha,
We budgeted for 2 people that don't exist.
gotcha.
Yeah, I budgeted for bringing on more people, but not.
Sorry that the savings is there, I realized that it doesn't lessen the workload.
Yeah, I mean, our bottom line looks good, but at what expense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 2 people running the office that are
Yeah.
just going full steam ahead and running out of steam. So. Any other questions for Matt Antalowitz? Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Danae, will you plan to, schedule a finance committee meeting in the near future?
I can make myself available whenever you guys would like, we can schedule a good amount of time and kind of drill down on all projections that we do usually during the budget process. We can do that much earlier this year if you guys want. So,
Thank you, Matt.
great.
Olivia?
So the updates I have are on Rockin' on the River. We are not doing well in terms of our beer sale. The first Rockin' on the River didn't do well, the second one didn't do well compared to last year. So we are going to, again, we are just unpredictable in things because we are not, because we don't run, I mean, we're not a normal business that takes income like a lot of you in this room, and I know that other businesses, when you're doing your budgets, you're doing that projection based on that, but we don't know how much sponsorship we're gonna get, we don't know how much revenue I'm gonna get from an event, I don't know any of these things, like, it's all unpredictable. So when we budget, we try to take numbers that happened last year, the year before, we look at our flops, like 2022 was a huge flop, so we don't even use that one, we've scratched it completely, we've scratched 2021 completely, like scratch those budgets and are like, this is fairy tale land. This
Why is
budget-
22 swap, because of the weather?
Because we went and thought that not even just weather, we were like, COVID is over, we could go back to 2018 or
Sorry.
2019.
That's when Jeff was here.
Yeah,
And so Jeff, for the rainouts, didn't plan anything.
yeah,
Okay.
So he didn't cancel things.
I would just
Yeah.
ask him because I only
Yeah, it was
asked
a
because it was
lot.
post-COVID, it was
He just held them.
Yeah.
out of COVID.
yeah, so then.
Yeah.
Our bottom, I remember being the interim, looking at a negative 121,000 that year. So that's something that hurt us, and we've been building back from 2022 of that amount of money that we lost, because we dipped into the savings account that we
The
had.
key bank account.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then from there, we diminished that because then the tax assessment was late last year. We didn't get it until May. So there's a lot of perfect storms that have happened that have gotten us to this point. Last year, we failed at putting the ARPA funds into our bottom line. We were like, we're gonna get $50,000 from the city without realizing, no, you're not getting 50,000 cash. You're gonna send us invoices and we're gonna pay you back.
Yep.
So then that hurt our bottom line. So if you put like if you add 50,000 to our bottom line, that's like what we were at.
And that's what we did.
We did, yeah. So then this year, in the finance committee meeting, we took the 50,000 ARPA and we said, we wanna pay for our flowers, we wanna pay for the planters, the Christmas decor, and we like expensed it properly. So that's why when you look at beautification, I think it shows that we're at like 6,000 our budget, and normally it's at 12, but that's because ARPA is paying for the planters, the flowers, and I think the kissing balls this year. So we properly allocated them.
More than half of our
Yeah,
budget.
more of half. And then we did that for marketing too. So we took, the marketing budget is lower than it normally is. So those things are now properly added in, and we're gonna see if that's going to help us, which I think it will. Right now, we're tracking much better than we have in the past, and we aren't spending anything. Like, I really am not spending any money. Our bands this year for Rock on the River are the cheapest they've ever been. Our beer sales are low, but the amount that we're paying Craft Beer Guild is also low, so they gave us a discounted rate as their sponsorship. So we're gonna see some of those change, but again, those weren't things that I know. Like, I have no idea Craft Beer Guild is going to give us a discounted rate. I have no idea that these bands are going to come in at the amount that they're coming in at. So it is all surprises when you're doing a nonprofit budget.
I do have a quick question about the beer, just an observation. We offered, credit card payments last year and aren't this year. What was the reasoning behind that?
We are doing credit card payments.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got credit card.
I was like, cash only, I had to go to an ATM. It was
No,
okay.
we've got credit card and
Right.
cash.
We're gonna say cash only.
Also,
This came from Clark.
Oh, okay.
So also, do you think that it's worth it trying to have like a heat sort of, reschedule? Cause like the heat was
Oh,
really bad. So I don't know if that could come into play, like if it's, you
Yeah,
know, it's gonna be, we're under warning, like ozone, it's 95 degrees, you know what I mean? I don't know if.
And that did cause problems at Skeeter Creek.
Yeah.
Skeeter
That's
Creek,
what-
for
so
those
I
of you
don't
that
know
were
if
there, know
maybe-
they ended an hour early.
Right.
And it was unexpected.
Cause I think one of the Alive at Fives did that this year,
Mhm.
so I don't know if moving forward, that may be worth it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like, especially if there's some sort of warning, like, just take that as the,
Worth considering.
Yeah.
Or get some misters, cause I think this has been like the last 3 years, I've been like, I haven't done the Rock on the River because it's too friggin' hot
Yeah.
every single time, like, I don't wanna be standing out there baking, and like, that's the main reason I would go.
yeah.
And yeah, so it's,
Sun and beer don't.
it's
mix
been a
well
week of
together.
90 plus degree temperatures, I really don't see that letting up, so yeah, maybe
No,
next year we'll think
you're
about it.
100% correct
Yeah.
about the heat, but the underlying problem is, I had to put opening acts in as headliners
Yeah,
this year.
yeah,
So you're not gonna get the draw that you're
Yeah.
gonna get with a tribute act or whatever.
no, that's true too, I mean, that's Skeeter
And
Creek, and it
Skeeter
was
Creek
a little bit,
walks off stage half hour early
Yeah.
this year.
yeah,
Then they argued with me afterwards that that's when they always stop. So you know what, I basically told them to kiss my
yeah.
battalion, you know what? And I've already spoken a little bit with Olivia about this, about not bringing them back, because we don't need the attitude, I don't give a crap who you are. for
And they were
God's
the
sake.
highest paid
Yeah.
one this
They
year.
eat up half the budget, half the entertainment budget.
And that hurt us, you could see that it hurt us because we did like close to almost 4,000, not even like 3,000 something for Skeeter Creek and beer sales. And we normally do 12, and them cutting out at 8 o'clock versus their last song at 8:30 and then wrapping up around like 8:40 or so, killed us.
Yeah.
Because the last Ginger Jesus got to around like 5,000 in beer sales, and it's because that extra hour that we had, we saw the line, cause
Yeah.
it cools down.
Yep.
So once 8 o'clock, 7:30 rolls around, the beer line goes crazy, cause everyone's like, it's nice out.
Maybe we can try moving it later next year, I mean, that could be, if it naturally
It's an
is
option.
moving later, yeah.
Yeah. But that's what happened with Rockin' on the River, so we are going to see that affect the budget. We have Pig Out coming out in August 17th, the vendor applications have been sent, so we're starting to slowly hear back from our restaurants for participation. Same format as last year, we'll be over by McGaddy's, Radio X handling the music for us. And working on that partnership just to be able to afford entertainment for Pig Out. And then we have, our Troy Night Outs, we were trying to just get some momentum and marketing behind it, so I've partnered with Metroland. If I get all of the information to Fridays to Metroland, they're putting us in the Friday happenings, there's a back page on their newspaper. If people can start getting me what they're doing, it'll be advertised right on the back, and you can pick it up that Friday night, so we're trying to advertise picking the newspaper up to see what to do that night, and then second, if you're a business in the downtown, to have Metroland in your shop, because it'll definitely help, so we're pushing that with them. We sent an email out to our businesses, Evelyn said that she's gotten an influx of people that are starting to send their plans in. I also put themes, so that way there's a theme up all the way until December for, Troy Night Out, so that way it's easier for everybody to figure out what they wanna do. This upcoming one is Shark Week, so it is actually Shark Week. So it's gonna be Summerfest Shark Week, just focusing on summer luau themed or summer themed clothing sales, sidewalk sales, just trying to get momentum around Troy Night Out again.
Will you have art galleries and just different things listed, cause like one of the main
Yep.
things that used to be good with Metroland is they had all the pages of the bars and bands and everything.
Yeah,
So, okay.
Erin's working on that with us. I know she has the music and arts
Okay.
piece. We're having the business piece, so we're trying to get like your sales and your drink specials and all that. That's Troy Night Out, and then the last thing that I have to talk about, which I gave, I know that I'm missing 2 Class A's on there. One is Gabby Salini and James, I'm missing you.
Is that because I didn't give you my information? I was supposed to dig that up,
Yeah,
right?
I needed your LLs, like the.
Yeah, I need to find that.
Yeah,
later.
it's okay. I worked with the assessor's office to get these numbers, so,
With us.
yep, the sheet of paper you have in front of you is our board of directors Class A's. It's showing you what you pay to the bid and what the proposed increase will look like for you.
Copies are in the back by the
Yeah,
name
if you
of
don't
Mount
have
Tense,
one.
if you didn't get one.
So, the thought process of showing you this is the transparency of going to meet with Rick Morrissey of Corporation Counsel for the city. We're meeting on Friday with our legal counsel. I don't have a time yet, Kate Hedgeman's getting back to me on a time that we're gonna meet. And then, yeah, tomorrow, Friday. So, we're going over the amendment that we sent in, because we're trying to get in front of city council's finance meeting, next Thursday. So we need Rick's thoughts, opinions, what he thinks, and if it is viable to go to the July meeting. If not, we are gonna have to push it to August, which is okay. It honestly gives us a little bit more time to gather everybody and make sure that our Class A directors are able to attend and hear from them. So, the amendment itself is taking us from 5% to 15%. I think I'm missing you too, Sam. Yeah, so I'm missing 3 of you, but I will get those numbers to you when I talk to Sharon today. Cause I did send an email to Sharon, we are trying to figure out pilots right now. When I look at my sheet, based on trying to find everybody, I have Troy IDA listed for a lot of the pilots, so I don't know who they are. So I need Sharon to kind of go through that with me of who our pilots are and if we are getting money from the pilots. There are 3 Troy IDAs that we received from, but when we looked through there's like a whole big sheet that we get of 309 parcels, but they're listed out with numbers. So it's been a lot of research with her, and I'm trying to make sure that City Station, all of them, north, south, and west, they're all in a pilot, and I'm trying to make sure that their bid tax is getting to us. So with that, the meeting that we're going to have is presenting it, but before we do that, our board does have to vote on moving forward of bringing this to City Council. Kate Hedgeman has requested that, so I know Sarah would have to make that motion to vote on increasing the bids assessment.
So we're talking about asking the city to increase the bids assessment from 5% to 15%. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve that ask?
I'll make a motion.
Jamie, anybody would like to second?
Sure, second.
James Kehoe, all others in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Well, you gotta have a discussion before you go.
Yeah, can we have a conversation?
Yeah, I had a question, can we see what you presented and what you were going to present? I almost would like to see something.
Yeah, I presented it to all of you. What I'm
Yeah.
presenting is what I presented to you
It's
in,
the same thing,
I
okay,
think
cause
February.
I didn't know what you presented at that last meeting.
what I presented to you guys.
Oh, yeah, it's just, yeah.
It's the same thing.
So are you doing a different presentation coming up?
No, this is the same presentation, cause I didn't get a chance to present it, like I had only talked to them, and I gave them like a handout, so I didn't actually get the chance to put the PowerPoint up, because it was like,
That was
I
very-
wasn't supposed to even have that
We didn't know, you know
presentation.
what I mean, there could have been support, or there could have been, you know what I mean?
We didn't go into that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was there for something else. I was there presenting on
Yeah.
behalf of the land bank. I was in the crowd and told I was staying, right? That was, we did not even know going into that meeting.
No.
She was there in hopes of being able to make a public comment, and we were
Yeah.
then asked to come up and present.
Yeah.
So it was very, very
Okay.
That's
big.
helpful to know.
Yeah,
It's helpful
I
to
was
know 'cause
not,
it
yeah.
felt like, I didn't
Yeah.
know, I was like, why did
No,
she
because
do
it,
without
like,
telling us?
so, now knowing that was a legitimate ask of the board.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, now that I understand you guys did not know that was from me, right? Will further explain why I've been so adamant about, this is important and we need the board
Yeah.
support. You're right, if that was a formal meeting where I knew what I was going into, she knew what she was going into,
Right.
every single buddy at this table,
That's why I
you know,
was
I think
looking
Vito
at it,
has
like-
screamed that for the mountaintops too, like, when this
Right.
comes, like, we need to
Yeah.
back your
Yeah.
organization.
'Cause I.
But in your defense, you had no idea.
No,
So
and then
I-
when it
Yeah.
came out, it was like.
We were supposed
why-
to just meet with
Yeah,
council
so that was
members,
good.
like, we were there to have a
Yeah.
preliminary conversation with council members, whether individually or as a group, and then when it came down to it, Councilman Casey texted Councilwoman Steele, and they were like, no, you're presenting this, we're not having conversations. So they put me on the agenda, and then Jamie was luckily there, so I pulled him and was like, we have to do this right now.
Not luckily.
Yeah, no, luckily, or else I would have been up there by myself. So I didn't get to show any of the PowerPoint, anything that I had presented to you guys that was going to be presented to city council.
Okay.
I just gave a packet out for a meeting, and Aaron wasn't even there, he was on vacation at the time, which was why I was like, this is not happening right now. So then the conversation moved forward, and now we're doing everything properly, working with Rick Morrissey, because we need to talk to Corporation Legal, working with Kate, like, I hadn't even spoken to Kate Hedgeman at that point, like, Kate
Right.
Hedgeman had to amend stuff, so now
Right.
everything's like a momentum.
Yeah, it is very good to know, cause I think a lot of us were under the impression that like this thing was scheduled and
Yeah.
like.
Do you have a copy of the resolution that we're asking, or is that gonna be granted tomorrow?
That's, Rick has to look at it.
So I think what would be fair to the rest of the people on the
Yeah.
board is if everybody's at least able to see the resolution, that will be being in forth of finance,
Mhm.
or next month.
Your meeting with Rick is tomorrow?
Yeah.
And you're trying to get in front of city council
I-
for next Thursday.
Typically legislation for next Thursday would come out tomorrow. So if you're
Mhm.
meeting with him is tomorrow, it's unlikely it's gonna be. on
Yeah,
Friday.
so it's probably gonna be August.
Is there
Which
any thought
probably
in
would be
in the
better.
bid, either the bid executive or the bid board, holding some sort of public meeting to kind of drum up support? I was talking with Lucille last night about
It's a
this.
good idea.
And
And it was in that
she really likes the idea
Yeah.
of getting the public together, the bid, making a presentation.
So Kate told me I can't do that the city council would have to do it.
That you can't do what?
That I can't hold a public.
It wouldn't be a
city
public
council
hearing.
vote. Yeah.
It's not a public hearing.
Public meeting.
It's a
It's
public
a
meeting.
Okay.
It would just be the bid presenting the
Yeah.
proposed increase, soliciting I mean, basically what the mayor did last night about the new city
Mhm.
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally with maybe a little bit more public comment thrown in there.
I-
Because you have 309 parcels, and I understand, bid members, now have the information in front of them, and they may be okay with it. But you have a lot of residential properties, things like that, and I just think it would help the council, even though I don't get a vote, I did get a formal opinion from Rick on that.
Yeah.
But I think it would help the council know where the public stands on it.
I also think that it would really like be a benefit to push it to August and do something like that to get that information out, because if there's a lack of information on that, like, you're gonna have, taxpayers that are just like, and they don't understand, they're gonna be like, I'm not voting for
Yeah.
this, it's another
Yeah.
tax.
Hey,
So
can we
I-
even get that together in a month? Cause yeah, I think you're right.
Aaron, when's August finance?
August finance would be the second to last Thursday of August.
I know you wanna push
Uh,
it through, but.
August 20-something.
Yeah.
I think without, I wasn't here for the presentation, but you sent it out, it looked really good, but from what I recall, because that was months ago, right? It was kind of a look back of what we've done, but not a look ahead.
No,
right?
it had look
Did
ahead
it
in
have
there,
a look
yeah.
ahead?
I would like a bit, like if I was going to pitch, raising your taxes 3 times, I would make a big splash presentation, like here's all the fun stuff we're gonna do if we have this money, like
Right.
that's the approach.
Sue also said the same thing to me.
Yeah, and I
Of the
think without
public.
a strategic plan and like clear benefits,
So
it's
with,
really hard to make that argument.
with looking at the calendar, right, the meeting tomorrow with Rick has to happen no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
Like, we all have to
No,
agree, this little powwow has been trying to happen for months now, right? That has to happen. If I understand the temperature correctly at the table, we're not willing to vote on whether to move forward with this prior to a vote. Do you wanna vote on moving forward with the assessment? Or do you wanna have a public meeting first? Because this is gonna be, either way, no matter what the public's temperature is on it, we as 14 people here have to agree if we're moving
No,
forward,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think we should continue this discussion about it, right? And then we should vote on Sarah's motion to approve the reassessment. With the expectation that prior to August finance meeting, we have a public meeting.
Which is August 21st, I just looked it up.
So August fourth,
20%.
no, I'm sorry, August fourth is the first Monday in August. Do we have enough time from today to August fourth to put together something at the Art Center?
Yeah,
Or I'm just saying, that's where downtown public meetings are, if anybody,
I just have to,
what,
yeah.
can we do it at your place?
I mean, the art center is best.
I have to, yeah, and I have to check with Kate, cause when I brought this up to Kate, cause Sue originally in that meeting that we
That
had
Aaron is
said
right.
that, yeah, no, I know,
Hearing is different.
Yeah.
Carmella and the city
Yeah.
council have to do that.
Yeah.
A public
Yeah.
powwow is,
Okay.
we can do that.
It's
Yeah,
like what you
yeah.
did with the business that one.
It also depends on the vehicle, legislative vehicle that, Rick thinks this needs to go through. If he thinks it needs to be a local law,
Mhm.
that process is drawn out, requires a public hearing. If it's just an ordinance or a resolution, that's simpler to do. My guess is if a local law was used, yeah, this is what Rick will say tomorrow. You can let him know I told you ahead of time. And if a local law is what created the bid, then a local law is what needs to happen to amend it. So if that's the answer we get on Friday, the local law would have to be introduced at the city council, the earliest that could possibly be done for Thursday, next Thursday. That schedules a public hearing, then you have to vote in finance, then you have to vote in the regular. That public hearing portion has to be done by the council. So the public will have another opportunity, to ask questions, or really not to ask questions, but to just make statements, because there's no back and forth with the council.
Yeah.
That's why I think a public meeting is useful, because you can't have a back and forth. What are you gonna do with this money? Well, here are some of the ideas, why do you need this? I think that will help generate support, or you might get some comments that the city council might find useful.
And what you gotta get from people is that we should go to referendum. People are gonna need to vote on it, like we did when the bid first came into existence.
And that might be, part of the conversation with Rick and Kate tomorrow, I don't.
What do you mean,
I don't know.
the
The way the library is
Go
now.
to the people for a vote.
The 309 parcels,
Yeah.
the bid numbers.
Yeah, it's district itself, people in this district are gonna have to vote on it, it's gonna have to go to referendum.
I think that'll only be, that's only if legally that's.
Yeah,
that's what
that,
we're
I already asked Kate about that, we can't go to a vote, cause there's, like, the way that works would be, for example, United Group has 5 parcels, Franklin Plaza has 6, so then they get 6 votes, they get 5 votes. So, Kate was telling me that.
Why, would you be in favor of that, or do you fear that, just slows it
Well,
down?
I'm just thinking about the pushback from some of the residents here,
Right,
just, laying it out, the way it was. I know what the climate was.
in the beginning,
When the bid first came into existence, people were bitching and complaining that it was gonna be an additional tax.
Mhm.
So how do you think this is gonna fly, going from 5 to 15%? I'm just thinking about the pushback.
And
Yeah.
people hear the word tax, and a lot of us are hanging on by, what's
Yeah.
the world, right? But the state is hanging on by a thread, so I do think that this public hearing is to trigger.
To Vito's point, I can recall that early on, that ROI
Yeah,
was to be
it failed in
used. Yeah,
2003,
they
and then
gotta
it
see
passed.
the benefit.
That's exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, there has to be a huge benefit. And I'm not trying to boil the ocean here, but one of the things that we talked about early on was redrawing the lines rather than increasing the tax. So did we take a look at that?
Yeah, redrawing the lines isn't gonna do anything, it's not gonna be enough income to be able to keep us afloat.
What's enough?
I mean, enough is getting us to the same as every other bid, which is $500,000. To be able to get a full staff, full beautification team, and then focus on this district, and then talk about expanding the lines. I can't expand lines and increase at the same time right now.
Tara, to piggyback off you, my mind, almost from my, beginning on the board, has been to increase the lines, and it has been that way up until very recently, where I dived into the numbers. And as much as I wanted to increase the lines, it economically doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make that
Because we
difference.
can't, if we can't, so let me, to put it in simple terms, right? We can't take care of the amount of kids we have now, adding 5 more kids to the household. How do we do it, right?
Yeah, the amount would just allow us to have 1 more staff.
If you get the increase and people see you know, see the improvements that the bid is able to,
Increase-
accomplish, then you
Yeah.
might have people clamoring to be included.
Increasing is
That's-
definitely something we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, something we can, I mean, that can happen independently of this.
Yes, I think this, so look at it like this, if we get this done, now we have enough to carry on the mission, right?
Sure.
And now we show the people of the district, wow, the bid really does help.
Sure.
Now when we go to ask, I don't know if council has to approve or what has to be done, right? We wanna go to Hoosick Street, and we wanna go to Adams Street.
Right.
Now those people are like, oh, I don't mind paying the extra 5%, because look at what downtown gets. But if we go and say, okay, Hoosick Street to Adams, we don't have enough now, so we need to take 5% additional from you, we can't give them nothing. It's,
Yeah.
all we're doing is adding more people to say, what are you doing with my tax money?
Right.
It took me a while to see that, cause I thought the additional income would be enough to get us over the hump, until I looked at the numbers and saw how little we can do with what we have. The first has to be, the increase has to be done before we take on more people to enter, unfortunately.
Did we get any kind of helpful feedback from the survey that we can use, at least to kind of tell a narrative in this presentation?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the survey focused on beautification, like everyone's answers were beautification,
Right.
like all of that, and
That's really helpful.
so I have that, I have 15 responses in there, so I have that in like a pie chart.
I think from the public meeting, what we could get, like, if we all go and unify and say like beautification is our mission, right? Beautification and some events to bring tourism to downtown, right? We go and unify with that. And now we're asking for an additional 5%. The public meeting could add that component into like, what would you guys like to see, right? Maybe there's beautification that we're missing, like maybe we all know that there's certain businesses and corners that say, I never get anything, right? The reality is we're never gonna make that person or people happy. But the actual, like for me, like the commercial property owner that is also a resident who lives in their building but has tenants, they might like to see some additional stuff done to their block. You know, so we can gather that. Right now, it's easier for us as a board to go to the Rosenbluths, the First Columbias, the judges. It's easy to get a seat at their table and say, what do you guys wanna do with that, right? Because they pay the lion's share. But I think the shortfall is, let's say there's 15 of those. The other 290, what are we gonna knock on their door and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, what would you like to see done with your extra 5%?
But I know we can't.
Right, like, how do we do it?
Feet on the ground is the best way to get.
But that's what we do with the public meeting, that's what the public meeting,
Right.
the public meeting would be your feet on the
Yeah.
ground, like, you guys come to the table, tell us what you want, this is imperative that we get this, but we cannot do it
Yeah.
with the 7 members on the council that have to approve it, unless you guys as a whole support it.
I would push back on asking people at the public meeting what they want, because that implies that we don't know what we're going to do with the money, that we're just asking for the money. to
She
figure it out.
does her presentation
Yeah,
first.
I'm saying, I wouldn't, I think we should get the, but I think we already have a survey, we already have some,
Yeah.
I don't really, yeah, I think. we
You're
should
right,
have a
the
plan.
framing needs to
Yeah.
be like, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
That's why the beautification is the frame, right?
Yeah.
What would you like, what else would you like to see?
Yeah, what, in addition, you just have to phrase it the right way. In addition to what we have here, is there anything else? It's
Yeah.
just the wording.
I also thought your suggestion that, additional funds would allow us to go after grant funding.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
Well,
Yeah.
and.
Matching funds.
Matching
Yeah,
funds.
matching
Matching
funds, that was
funds,
really
yeah.
good.
One of your original ideas that you've been talking about for a long time too is, trying to be a resource for like incoming businesses or businesses themselves, and they wanna put on the events as well, like a private event,
Mhm.
or like, hey, we found this grant,
Like
let's-
micro grant.
the micro grant, and then aiding in that. I think with that presentation, it would also be beneficial to, like, if you're still thinking about that as part of this increase, having time to do that, you should be adding that in as well.
Right.
Yeah, I have it in here.
Yeah, I think the key is painting a picture,
Yeah.
right? Like getting people to see the vision. And I think it's important for us to collectively have a clear vision, right? And I think you have some ideas in your head, Olivia, but I think collectively, you know, it keeps coming back for me of like that strategic vision and plan, like what are we trying to do, right? Like, I don't wanna give more money just to do business as usual, right? Ideally, we're like, A, benchmark, we're sustainable, but then B, we're like moving the mark, right? And if we can't tell the people how we're gonna move the mark, then we're not gonna get the money. That's
Can we do some mock-ups of like, you know, like city streets and then we run it through ChatGPT and.
Yeah.
there's flowers on it.
100%,
Like, yeah,
that's such a good idea.
Visualize it for people,
Yeah.
like here's how Troy could look, here's your
Yeah.
quarter, and here's how your quarter could look, and just leave it at that.
I think that's a really brilliant idea.
Part of me says there's, and I'm hesitant even thinking about this, so I'm fine if somebody's saying, no, it's a ridiculous idea, but the reality is around this table is that, trying to literally keep the lights on in the building staff. I go,
Exactly.
and I'm not sure people are like, no, I don't necessarily need more flowers, I'm okay, or I'm all right with the bands, so I'm not gonna vote for it because I'm okay with where it's going, not realizing how thin the margins are with going, hey, and by the way, if this doesn't go through, keep the
We're
lights
done.
on, it's 5 months, so it's sometimes you don't wanna tip your hand too much.
And I don't wanna overpromise either, like I'm keeping this as
Right.
simple as I possibly
Yeah.
can, like I'm not gonna show a streetscape of what downtown Troy could be, like it's just gonna be very simple, because if I overpromise and then we don't deliver, that's much worse
But
than.
then we do have to sell it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I'm
yeah.
definitely gonna sell it of what we're doing, but I'm just not gonna overpromise some things. We're gonna keep it as simple as we can. We're gonna focus on the beautification. I have already done 2 newspaper articles with Erica now, like the public has seen, it's been in the front page twice now, the Troy Record, talking about like the changes, where the money's going, because a lot of the time, we hear the grumblers, we know that everyone thinks that this is gonna go to staff, it's not. It's gonna go to maybe getting 4 beautification members and 2 more people in the office, that would be amazing. But the big key takeaway is focusing on beautification, like kiosks, wayfinding, grants, being able to apply for a grant that's gonna help the businesses, whether it's a grant for facade or a grant for tourism, like those are the things that we're gonna focus on and keep it very, very simple and just hear what the public has to say.
I brought up asking the public is because that is something.
Yeah,
our
Kate just
council-
originally told me city council had to do it, but it must be from,
No,
the
no,
conversation
I'm
with
saying,
public forum.
cause I meant asking the public what they want, I only brought that up because it came from council. That's what they want to see.
Yeah.
In order for them to be on our
I mean,
side.
I've
I'm just
met
being
with-
transparent with everybody.
Yeah.
That came from her
Yeah.
fingertips to myself.
and I've
all
met
that
with
stuff.
all of the highest payers, so all the developers are the highest payers who pay the most into the bid tax and are gonna really feel this. They're gonna go from like 6,000 to 26,000 on their bid tax.
Damn.
In speaking to them and asking for their support, writing a letter of support, which I've gotten now from almost all of them, I'm just missing 2 right now, and the reason is just I haven't gotten on like a meeting face to face just yet. But all the others have agreed, and we did ask them, we said, if we increase this, what do you wanna see? And every single one of them asked for beautification. They wanna see more beautification, and they wanna see more beautification staff. So they wanna see more people out and about, helping clean up in front of their buildings, because that'll look better for their tenants. So I have met with the top 5 payers.
I wanna mention something too, this may seem like an aside, but it could help, with your case, cause, Pat Fahey has, put forth some legislation to address this reimbursement issue, to expedite, the state government, getting, grants and other disbursements out, especially to nonprofits, in a more timely manner. This is a very old problem.
Yeah.
People should know about it. I remember years ago having a discussion with Frank Lautenberg, Senator Lautenberg about it, and it's baked into finance law that I don't think will ever completely change. It's always gonna be on a reimbursement basis, but if we can at least expedite it, and so, you know, that Pat Fahey is putting this forth just shows that it's not just us. And we're not the ones who are just complaining about this. This is a bigger problem that we are caught up in as well, and it's hurting us.
Oh, yeah, state procurement too.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just think
Money
because
comes, it's
that's
gotta wait a
in the
long
media right now, I think I just saw that came out, fairly recently, it's just something else that you can use in your personal information.
in consideration of time, Sarah, do you wanna take your vote now? I mean, I think we should move forward with.
So,
We had someone make a motion, we had someone make a second, so we have to close it, either you take it off the table or we have to close it out.
so the vote was just, as a board, we are voting to make the decision for the organization to request an increase in the bid tax
Correct.
from 5% to 15%.
With
and
the
to allow-
expectation.
Yeah, that's what I voted for.
Yeah, with the expectations.
Okay, so we have a first, we have a second, all others in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
And we have a quorum.
We do, yeah. Okay. So I would just ask you to keep the board updated on the steps and the progress. I'd like to see some sort of communication as to how things go tomorrow, what the next steps are, and then we'll have to plan a public meeting.
And I haven't given any of these steps, cause I haven't gotten them, so it's not that I'm not keeping you guys updated, I genuinely haven't had a meeting. Just like as an FYI, and
Yeah, we have it tomorrow, so.
Danae,
Yeah.
how
and it
easy,
could get canceled, just an FYI, like these things happen.
Sure.
how easy is it to have a sit down with Ray?
Do I have to answer?
I mean,
Aaron?
if you have it on the calendar,
He's
that's
been
great.
pretty good for me.
You
lately, so I
you
don't-
liar.
I don't know.
He has.
No, I think he is catching up a little bit, so if you have a meeting with him, definitely go and see what happens, but, you know, that'll determine the next step.
Yeah.
If you're thrown on the agenda for some reason, you'll be prepared and you can rally ready to come to that, if not, then you can hold a public information session and just get everybody on board so that they can go to the meeting and all coordinate. Be there. So we'll see what happens.
Olivia, I forget on your slide, do you define who pays into the tax?
Yep.
Because I've heard from residents that I know their building, they don't even pay the tax.
I know.
They don't look at their tax
I
bill and
know.
realize this is not going to impact them, so I think people need to.
Yeah,
remind
the
theirs.
article Erica had, if you haven't read Erica's article yet that she put out last week, we did a sit down just for like, I was a transparent article to be transparent about what we're doing. And the amount of texts, phone calls, Facebook comments, anything, people that aren't even in our district think they pay the bid tax. So it's insane, and it's a 3-story commercial residential. You have to have 3 units or more in order to be considered a parcel
3
in the
units,
bid.
not 3 stories.
Yeah, 3 units, sorry, 3 units or more.
Within the boundary, so I had people call me from Lansingburg saying, where do I find the bid tax on
Right,
the
yeah.
taxes? I was like,
Good
well,
luck.
you're not gonna find it.
No.
So you
Yeah.
can pay it if you want, like, we'll take your money.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's fun, it is interesting that we're trying our best to educate everyone, that's why, like, we're working with the record to get this information out, to explain, this is the bid tax, this is who pays it, this is our map in our district, and the parcels that are in it.
Is there an appeal, so like if somebody's distressed or having a rough year, that they can appeal saying, listen, I can't.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
against it. Like, I know it's right.
Cause it's a city tax, so I don't know.
Probably
It's
not.
part of that bigger tax.
Yeah.
It's the first line, if you look at your tax bills, we're the first line item,
It
so
is.
it says business improvement right on the top.
Is that the New York State mandate one too, or is that a separate line item?
Separate line item, yeah, separate.
When they file a grievance, it probably lowers their overall, it's not going to change the percentage.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and the other thing, we used to get 156,000 in our assessment as an FYI. If the tax goes up or the tax goes down, the bid tax goes up and goes down. So we could see a really bad year if something occurs with the tax of the city. So that changes us too.
Don't think you have to worry about it.
I know, yeah, but 2 years ago, we were at 156,000. Yeah.
But it is, yeah, the bid only, receives what's collected, not what's assessed.
And like in the article too, like, without being mean to other bids, like, I think it's important to push, like, somehow wording how much this bid does with less in comparison to other, we all know which Albany bid I'm talking about. With much less than them.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Lark Street bid.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
We
just
talked about
saying,
Albany.
like, I'm saying if there's
Yeah.
a way to somehow, without naming them, just like, you know, these are the extra things that we are already responsible for, like in comparison to other bids and we receive less.
Yeah, I mean, we have to compare us to the capital region bids, so like the Albany bid, Lark Street bid,
Okay.
Central, Schenectady, in order to paint that picture of like what the Albany bid has, what the Schenectady bid
Yeah.
has, Central Ave and Lark Street. And I know I've sent all the contacts
Yeah.
over to Erica too in case we need to do that in any of the articles, but
Okay.
having those conversations with them.
Yep.
Yeah. And they've been nothing but supportive in terms of talking to them, letting us use them as examples.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm talking to them a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know if they would to the fence, you know what I
No.
mean, and I know we need to
No.
remain in good standing with other.
No, Georgette's even offered to like help us
Okay.
attend, et cetera.
Any other updates, Olivia? Any ribbon cuttings or anything coming on?
I don't.
Alright, we'll move into our committee reports, unless anybody else has anything to add to the previous discussion. Sam, do you wanna update us on beautification?
Yes, so since my minutes, I'm sure if you haven't noticed, you'll notice now that most of our hanging baskets unfortunately are dead. Trevor, unfortunately, without going into a lot of detail, was hospitalized. The flowers went without being watered for a couple days. Olivia stepped in and watered, in the interim. We found someone pretty quickly, but I think they were already kind of past the point of being able to return. So we did receive some donations for replacements, and Olivia's working to slowly take down the dead ones. If you have one that you can reach, please help us out. We're receiving a lot of calls, texts, emails about this. We as a committee are really disappointed because it's a lot of volunteer time and planning,
Yeah.
and even National Grid reached out and
Yeah.
said, our employees noticed that home
Yeah.
baskets, that they're dead, what happened? So Olivia was very timely in responding to them, letting them know the situation. So I think it's Louis and who's the other individual?
Trevor's son-in-law, Ramel.
Yeah,
Is Trevor okay?
Yeah, I've been getting him to like appointments
thank
and
you for
whatnot.
that
He's
too.
good.
He came to visit yesterday too, and I
Yeah.
was worried about
He's
the flowers,
much-
and I was just like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
he's
so-"
doing well.
I was like, you did a great job, it's not your fault, it's not, you know, you have other things you need to do.
Yep, so we did jump into action as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
It was just too late.
Is
So-
it true, like I saw that, is it true that the baskets were wrong? Was that part of it? Cause someone had posted that the baskets were wrong.
Yeah,
because
there's
of the
been-
water rate.
A lot of people telling us about the baskets. Mark
What do you do
spoke,
about it now? Yeah,
yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it.
Mark spoke with the grower, and
Yeah.
the grower claims that that's not what's
Okay.
causing it.
Okay.
But we've had a lot of people telling us that it's the,
I just
baskets
saw that,
itself.
that's why I don't know.
This is the first time hearing about that.
yeah.
It was just not one of the damn complaining feeds.
Wasn't it the same kind that we've always?
It is the same kind we've
I
always
mean,
had.
maybe there's something slightly kind of out there, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moot
Look
point
into it.
right now, but I just didn't know if that really was.
What do we use?
Cause I told Trevor that too.
I use the cocoa shell.
That's the same, it's the same thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
So rough year for the baskets, but I think we'll discuss as a committee plan moving forward that we always need to have someone prepared to back up
Yep.
someone.
Yeah.
Trevor unfortunately was the only one,
Yeah.
because our other individual, I'm sorry.
Leonard is
Leonard,
also
he,
hospitalized.
he was also hospitalized and he didn't have a driver's license, so he wasn't even able to drive the vehicle for us.
Yeah.
So other than Olivia and Evelyn stepping in, we didn't have anyone available to help out. So, yep, I'm sorry, it's not good news.
Suggestion, are these going to be replaced, is that what the plan is?
I'm sorry, Vito, I missed that first part.
Are these baskets going to be replaced?
We don't have,
We have 40 baskets, so M&K Greenhouse, who does the hanging baskets for us, has donated 40 for us, and we're trying to put them where you can see like visibility, so at like street corners and stuff, we're trying to put them up right now.
so to answer your question, we have 125
Yeah.
brackets, we will not be replacing all of them, no.
Just a suggestion from a grower's point of view, at this stage of the game, maybe you just go with some hanging ferns, very inexpensive.
I don't dislike the idea.
I don't either.
I know our
Ferns.
committee loves
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah.
So-
Ferns, they'll die.
But I guess that's the thing to think about in
Yeah,
the
they need to
future,
be in
right?
shadow.
What
We need
people
to
are
figure
doing.
out flowers that.
I know a giant world of ferns is like thousands.
Yeah.
But just as an FYI, this is something that comes up on the budget as a surprise if we do have to buy flowers. These things happen.
That's my only other way.
Sam, I have a question about beautification. Business owner reached out to me on Upper River Street last night. There's
The rain gardens.
rain gardens. She said that there was some pots put in them. Are we planting, do you know?
So, yeah.
So that's not us. She was not accusing us, she asked if it was us.
It's a little backstory, and I have no idea, but Olivia had her team of
Oh yeah, we have Unity
Unity
House
House.
ambassadors this summer.
weed the 2 rain gardens in front of the Dutch Udder and the bookstore. Clark and I went out there
Yeah.
and planted them on Monday with some hostas that Keisha
Oh,
had
yeah.
donated.
It looks so good.
Oh, thanks. And then that afternoon, these potted plants show up. I have no idea where they
They're
came from.
vegetables
Put
too.
on there. They went into what you did.
No, no,
No,
no.
no, no,
They
no.
touched
the
the
hostas?
one in front of us by the staircase with gravel.
That was not us.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know.
whole thing got filled with gravel.
I don't know.
So,
I was looking forward to having.
No,
them.
Clark and I only did one in front of Dutch
No,
Udder.
the
and-
whole rain
Yeah.
garden, and
The
the
rain
bottom
garden.
stairs is just all gravel.
what should I
right
tell
now.
them?
I have I thought that
I
it
have
was
no
them,
idea where
to
those
be
came
honest.
from.
I don't know where they came
Can-
from.
But, I mean,
Whoever makes music, you're probably just taking.
They're in like these black
Black box, she sent me a
baskets.
yeah, I
picture.
saw them.
Yeah, and they're vegetables, they're tomatoes, squash, like, it's a vegetable
Who
garden.
would grow vegetables by the street?
So just tell her it's not us.
Yeah, it's not us.
That would also make more sense why it looked like it was really nicely planted than just like this thing plopped down in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know either, I thought it was
Somebody
because
put
of
them
this, I was
there.
like, maybe it was Shirley's, like, I don't know.
No, it wasn't Shirley. Oh, God.
Easy enough, I was telling, it had nothing to do with it.
Cool, you can answer, thanks.
Oh, she.
I will
my
say, it's an
God.
improvement from last week.
I was gonna ask.
I know it is.
You know when you go
They
to
did a
plant
great job
something, you
leaving
put it in
that
a
out.
pot, and you set it there and you're like.
That's, you go
To
back.
like arrange it,
Yeah.
and like dump it in the ground, but I didn't know they were veggies, so. Maybe somebody wants a veggie rain garden, or urban growers or something like that.
Every dog in the world.
Yeah, find the-
Oh.
Tomatoes.
Okay, any other?
Oh, sorry.
Is Neat here?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, I guess I will give the governance update on his behalf. He had sent out to the board information on the candidate that the governance committee is recommending for our open Class C resident seat. His name is Connor Morgan. He's the VP of Human Resources for Jaunty, and he lives in an apartment over on 4th Street. I wasn't involved in the initial conversations with him, but, several people know him personally, and the committee as a whole felt that he would be, an excellent candidate for our new board member seat. So that's the candidate that we are bringing forward for a vote to the rest of the board today. So does anybody have any questions on Connor Morgan as the candidate for the Class C resident seat? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve Connor Morgan as the new Class C resident.
Move that we approve Connor Morgan.
Alex first, Jamie second, all others in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right, well, congratulations to Connor. We will invite him to next month's board meeting, so I'll look forward to meeting him then. And good, so then we will have a full board like next month. Just a quick recap, I think, like I said, the minutes were sent under separate cover, but the governance committee is working on updating the bylaws, especially following the recent presentation from New York State Committee on Open Government. They're going to be working on updating the bylaws to ensure that they are in compliance with the open meeting laws. They're also looking to add a decorum clause in there, so all of that will be forthcoming and coming down the pipe. They've also started their discussions on filling, vacant seats, board seats that will be vacant in 2026 for May. So, I believe Samantha and I were the two, Class A board members that will be terming out in 2026. So those seats will need to be filled. And the committee has started the discussion of, identifying candidates for those seats as well. Any other questions on that? Okay, Alex, would you like to provide an update on quality of life?
Yeah, not much to report. We had Elizabeth Espinosa from Catholic Charities, spent a fair amount of time talking about what that organization is working on and their perception of what's happening in downtown. We had, as usual, Troy Police Officer Mike Bouchard present, talked a lot about the increased foot traffic from patrols downtown and the effect that that's been having. And we also discussed the new panhandling fine possibilities and sort of what they can actually do with that stuff now.
Can you touch on what Ms. Espinosa, her sentiment, let's go to briefly.
What's that?
Can you just give me a little, quick note of what Ms. Espinosa from Catholic Charities,
Yeah.
like what was her Reader's Digest?
Yeah, so she talked about, the sort of marked improvements that she has seen since taking the position and the approach that they take to contributing to that, you know. Sort of, like one of the things that was talked about was, initially stopping access to, and certainly other attendees, if you feel like I'm overspeaking, please let me know. Sort of the, the work with the trespass affidavit program and initially blocking access to certain areas, but then over time, developing sort of a gentleman's agreement with, people in downtown and the police so that they could be more permissive while still being able to control the undesirable behavior. And she seemed pleased with the results that she was getting there.
I don't understand, can you put that in layman's terms?
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of signs, especially around like 4th Street, that say no trespassing.
Okay.
That's the trespass affidavit program, where property owners basically sign blanket no trespass agreements with the Troy Police Department that make it so that if someone is on a posted property and they're not on the list of residents for that property, the police can proactively move them along.
It's a little white placard that you get for the police department, you attach it to the facade of the building.
Normally to book somebody for trespassing, you have to ask them to leave. This program basically says you've already asked anybody who's not supposed to be there to leave, so when the police show up, they can cite you for trespassing.
Got it.
It's to limit people congregating on businesses, storefronts,
And homes.
and people's residences, the entryways to people's residences, people who don't even live there, sitting on stoops, smoking weed, swearing, blasting radios. It can be really, really disruptive. I know we have a tap sheet, we call it a tap shield. We have a tap shield in my office because we get people who just sit on our stoops, blocking the entrance to our front entrance where our clients have to come and go, and just doing all sorts of unsavory things. And you can apply for a tap shield through the city of Troy, and the city of Troy will give you a placard to put on your building, notifying people of no trespassing, and you can't hang out here. And then if one of the Troy police officers is driving by your residence or your property, and sees people congregating on your steps, that allows the police to question those people that are congregating. Hey, are you a resident here? Do you live here? Are you on the approved list? And if you're not, they can ask them to leave and they will get moved along. And we as business owners don't have to do it. And they can also cite them for trespassing if they don't move on. And an added tool from the city of Troy, to prevent people from trespassing, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of a similar idea to the, like, no parking, police take notice signs that you see in parking lots, but for,
Got it.
you know, foot presence. And,
People's homes can get them, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
And
there's
it-
a lot of people's homes that would, yeah.
the frustrating thing with the TAP program is that, the affidavits have to be renewed every 90 days, which places, a rather onerous burden on whoever is wanting to participate in the program. Like, especially if you're an apartment building in the district, like the one that I live in, the idea that you're gonna have some out-of-town property manager, swearing on affidavits every 90 days with a list of residents is cumbersome at best.
Yeah. But it's important that they have that information, because if there's people
Yeah.
congregating on your front step and the police come by, they have a current list of who's a resident there, because
Yeah.
that's what part of the problem was, is the police would ask the people, hey, do you live here? And the people congregating would say, yeah.
Yeah.
So then now the police have, the ability to ask their name, and if their name is not on the list of residents, they know that they're lying, they know that they don't belong there, and they can move them along.
I just have one other question. So did Catholic Charities help push this through? I'm just curious what their role was. They were presenting about this and saying
So-
they had made a difference. I'm just unclear
So
about that.
Elizabeth is very fond of, spreading the word about the program to people who might be able to take advantage of it. The way that I found out about it was because she approached me after I had moved into my apartment, specifically to discuss why my building should be on the program, the benefits that it brings. So she's responsible for a lot of grassroots advocacy there.
Okay.
Did they have a location downtown, Catholic Charities?
Yes, it's the Rourke Center.
Oh, okay, got it.
Star, I think it would be safe to say that a lot of the complaints that the police and or neighborhood groups are getting are from residents of Catholic Charities properties. So I believe her statement was, she is happy with the improvement of the lessening of complaints. So they have the Rourke Center, the old Bethany House, and then they have a 54-unit building behind the St. Peter's complex on Fifth and Hunter. So they roughly have 100 beds in the downtown.
Wow. Wow.
And I'll say that as a resident of downtown that enjoys this program, that, I've seen, I personally appreciate the efforts from Elizabeth to, perpetuate its effectiveness and spread the word about it, and even encourage people to recognize that they are in violation and move along.
I don't know, so someone OD'd and died over the weekend or something. So, there's a woman named Caroline that will be walking around to businesses, and asking if they're comfortable holding Narcan.
Oh, good.
So, I did give her.
Comfortable what?
Huh?
Comfortable what?
Like holding like actual Narcan in their store.
Oh, okay.
So, she's gonna reach out to the city and see if there's a possibility to have some sort of box somewhere. I know that might not be able to happen for various reasons, but, I did give her a list of, she's gonna walk around everywhere, but like a list of businesses that might be more,
Yeah, how do we get ahold of her?
I can give you her.
Yeah.
When I was at our,
She's the one that's been helping with Trevor a lot.
we had to go through some basic training with that.
Yeah.
I think there's some assumed potential liability.
Right,
You get the skip on.
yeah.
I know there's Good Samaritan, but.
So, but I do
Yeah.
know because you can get it, I know that there might be liability with the business, but I do know, like, because you can get it for free.
Yeah.
It's almost, I know there's gonna be complications with it, but at least, it'll be accessible, so. there's
Teresa,
been-
you should, reach out the county health department.
Okay.
See if they can provide you with X amount of Narcan kits,
Yeah,
cause we do have it in the county.
oh, okay, yeah.
Now,
And even see if there's, yeah, so, you know, just because we, you know, it's, the other fear is that, you know, Narcan may not be as available as it currently is within the next however months, so, at least having some on hand and, could help save somebody. So, the other thing with that too is expired Narcan does work. They have the expiration date on it, but given the fact that someone died this week, I thought it was pertinent to bring to the,
Where was that?
I don't know.
Somewhere down
But it was in the district, so.
Oh, there's more and more people that need our help.
Did, she give any pointers or suggestions on what to do if you, or like who to call if there is someone, like, sleeping or?
Yeah.
Like, I never know what to tell people, I used to tell them to call like Joseph's house, or if they're veteran, I know people at my office, if they'll chat with them and if they're late, and if they're a vet, they'll call the veterans group that comes around to baby homes and stuff.
So in my experience, I've had good luck with Troy PD acting in a compassionate and sympathetic
Cause I know they can't,
in regards to.
they can't really bring them anywhere, but
Enforce.
maybe just to,
Yeah.
sort, yeah, there was a couple of people crashed out when I was at the bid meeting the other day, I walked back to my car and I was like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, or like.
I
if I'm supposed to do something.
Troy, well, I texted my officer Bashar about it.
So,
Yeah, and there was an event in Barker Park at 11
Yeah,
that
the
morning.
kids event,
Kids
so I-
event.
Yeah,
Where
they
people were
texted
sleeping
him.
on the sidewalks in the same block.
My friend's kid sat on a bench in Barker Park and sat on a needle. It was a couple years back, but it was, they had to go, he had to go through like so many different treatments at the hospital.
And that must have been before the benches were
He was
removed
Yeah.
from Barker
3.
Park.
The park is looking
Three.
good, I'll say that.
The benches have since been.
No, it was good,
Yeah.
this was years ago, this was
Right, right.
before
I just
all
felt bad walking
the.
by the two people sleeping, cause I was like, I actually don't even know what to do. And
today,
I don't
the
wanna
guys-
chat with them and be like, hey guys, do you want some water, you wanna get up?
I think for
Try to make friends.
For Ms. Espinosa, it's hard to find out if they're Joseph's House or Catholic Charities.
Yeah.
But the reality is most of the guys on the street that work downtown, they know where. They know what shelter to go to. I think that's. the
And
best.
they know their names, that's
Yeah.
the big thing, the officer Bashar, when he's at our
They
quality
do.
of life, they know all their names, so they're pretty kind to them.
And Officer Bouchard is pretty plugged in with a lot of the local nonprofits. And
Yeah.
Yep.
I've always known him to exercise his duties with compassion and to favor de-escalation, so.
Good. No, there's a lot more people this summer.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Just a reminder, we are still seeking a new chair for both our tourism and marketing committees and our DEI committees. So if anybody is interested in taking those over, please feel free to reach out to somebody. Any other, any unfinished business before we move on? Any new business? Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.